Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by the music of Jason Owens. And here to tell you all about Jason Owens' music is Jason Owens. Go ahead.
What's going on, guys? I'm country artist Jason Owens. You can find any of my music online on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Title any of that, just type in Jason Owens. And you can find us on our website, jasonowensmusic.com.
All right. So instead of uppercut chops, it's going to be Jason Owens music today, because otherwise you would hear the punch from uppercut chops. Right? You got to like that one. All right. And welcome in everybody listening in on all of our radio affiliates, our TV affiliates, everybody that may be watching, streaming as well. And you know, an interesting episode lies ahead, and we think about the idea of teams that are drafting, and whether it's the NFL draft, the Major League Baseball draft, the NBA draft, the NBA draft I mentioned. And let's face it, there are some that you scratch your head and say, well, why do certain teams pick certain players when maybe it might behoove them, which is kind of a fun word, I guess, if you're a Scrabble player. It might behoove them to pick a system player over the best athlete. And Jason, I know you're not a big sports guy, but out of all these sports that you watch, you see these professional sport athletes, and you say, wow, these guys are really skilled, or these women are really skilled. And in some cases, there are certain teams that just perpetually lose year in and year out. And you're wondering, why are they losing? Well, they got all these great draft picks. Well, it's because they're not picking for the system. And this is part of the issue. There's a pretty popular guy out there. His name is Tom Brady. He used to play quarterback for the New England Patriots and, of course, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady, he was picked 199th overall. 198 guys went ahead of him, for all you that don't know. But Tom went to the right system. And Bill Belichick had him drafted for the New England Patriots. And remember, he wasn't a starter. Drew Bledsoe was the starter of that team. And it took an injury to Drew Bledsoe for Tom Brady to get his shot. And once he got a shot, he never looked back. This guy was there. It was Super Bowl. It was this. It was that. Another Super Bowl. And it was 6 of them for New England. And then he even went down to Tampa just for good measure and won one over there too. So it's system, guys, and it's drafts. So, later on in the show, we're going to talk a little bit about how that relates to music and how Jason, for example, would consider potentially picking bandmates for himself as well. But, let's go back to this picking the best athlete situation, because, again, teams that continually have good draft picks, and these are very, very common, folks. They'll say, well, we know Joe or Josephine, whatever. These are the 2 best athletes left on the board. And let's say we're picking 14th out of 30 spots. So we probably should take them. But, Jason, there are reasons why sometimes a team will take the best athlete available. Now, I don't think this happens much in music. I really don't think so. But sometimes a team, and we'll just say, for example, in basketball, notoriously would be the Los Angeles Clippers. They would lose and lose and lose and lose. Well, their old owner, Donald Sterling, would take the best athlete because why? He knew other teams were interested in that athlete, and he could trade that athlete for maybe what he wants from those teams. Now, in music, we don't see this. Once you pick your I don't know, your fiddle player, your drummer, your guitar player, bass player, whatever the hell it is, you want to grow with them, right? You want that chemistry to develop, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. You definitely want to grow together. It's not great when you have to go in blind with somebody you've never met to play shows. I mean, it happens sometimes, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a better show if you're with people that you know and you trust, and they have your back.
So I have to ask you this. In a prior episode, we talked about picking venues. Now, do you ever find that, hey, maybe this venue is bigger and it's got all the glitz and glamour or whatever the heck it is, but it may not necessarily be the best fit for you? Because this is kind of the same idea. Do you ever have the situation?
I don't really think so. Usually the bigger venues are usually pretty good. I mean, sometimes they're in markets that, you're just not as used to. So the only time I guess it would be bad is if, you're in a 5,000 seat venue and you only bring 500 people.
Yeah, that could be a small problem, right? Because then people would be like, what are we doing? Are we in the right place? No, we're certainly not in the right place. But no, what I'm saying is, let's just say you have two venues that are similar in size. One has all the accolades. It's like playing in Yankee Stadium versus a AAA stadium, for example. You got a chance to play in Yankee Stadium, but you can't fill it up. But you got a chance to play in Yankee Stadium. That's a big deal. So maybe in the music side, are there venues maybe, and I'm not asking for a particular one, but have you ever seen the idea that, maybe this band or this artist is better potentially in this other one because it's a better fit rather than Yankee Stadium, for example?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's, with venues, it's building blocks, going from the bars, the clubs, to the amphitheaters, to the arenas, to the stadiums, It would be so cool, right, to play in the stadium, but if there's 100 people at the stadium,
Well, some baseball teams actually have to deal with that too, if you know what I mean. I mean, my beloved Chicago White Sox, they're in the toilet. I mean, they are just bad. They're really bad. And sometimes they play to a crowd of maybe 1,000 people, and they can seat 50,000 people in there. This kind of thing. And this is the dynamic I'm sort of referring to. So, yeah, maybe you'll have a chance to play in this great venue, but maybe you can't fill it up. Maybe the Hollywood Bowl was one of my favorites. It's one of those storied venues that you absolutely have to play in, kind of like the Whiskey in Hollywood, the Whiskey A Go-Go, right? You got to sign your name on the wall in there. But sometimes bands aren't really the best match for that now, are they?
No. Actually, I've played at the Viper Room in Hollywood, and it wasn't really the best match for country.
Well, right. That could be a small problem.
Yeah. But it was still cool to be there, It's some history in there.
Oh, there's a lot of history in there for sure. There's a lot of history in the Viper Room, but it's one of the it's the same exact thing that I'm talking about. So whether you're picking teams, whether it's fantasy baseball or you're the general manager of a real team, I mean, look, chemistry is a really big deal. And I think a lot of people really underestimate the chemistry between teammates, bandmates, partners, right, with marriages and stuff like that. I think people generally underestimate that quite a bit. And in fact, in many cases, even when it comes to going to college classes, they will pick certain classes because certain professors are there and they just really identify with the professor rather than Mr. Magoo or Miss Magoo or whoever it is, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. So think about, for the next segment, why don't we give a little preview of where we're going to go with that? Go ahead and actually tell everybody how to follow you and so forth.
Yeah, y'all can follow us online on all the social media platforms at Jason Owens Music, Owens, it's plural, and our website, www.jasonowensmusic.com. And up in the next segment, we're going to talk about camaraderie with your band and just picking the right players, musical players. Just very kind of similar to sports sports players as well. So it's going to be a fun time, fun chat, and I'm looking forward to it with you, Sal.
Hey, why don't you pick that guitar up and take, out of the rest of the segment. It looks like you got about a minute or so. Just keep on playing, then we'll fade you out, and then we're going to go into one of your songs anyway. How's that?
All right. There's just me noodling.
That's all right. You've got 30 more seconds, young man.
Can you feel the slow burn as you press against my lips? Your sweetness overtakes me, I'm okay with giving in.
We're a lot different, I ain't looking for the same.
Come a little closer, babe, I wanna play this game.
You're my whiskey,
You're my wine, I wanna feel your body next to mine. Tangled up in the bedsheets, mixing Chardonnay and country. Get me tipsy tonight, I'll drink you up until the sunrise. Wanna wake up with you by my side, mixing whiskey and wine. Be heaven sent. Red lip stain still there from yesterday. You and me
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by the music of Jason Owens. And here to tell you all about his music is Jason Owens.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Jason Owens. I'm a country music artist, and you can find all my music online on all the social media platforms at Jason Owens Music, or on Spotify, Amazon Music. Wherever you stream music, just type in Jason Owens, or our website, www.jasonowensmusic.com.
All right. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, including our friends in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, San Francisco 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcome into everybody else up and down the West Coast. You notice how the Alabama Crimson Tide thing was a little bit lower. Sorry, folks. This station that I'm mentioning next, WAUD over in Auburn, Alabama, really appreciates the fact that we don't give a lot of hype to their rivals over in Tuscaloosa just because, well, let's face it, Auburn, War Eagle, it's the Auburn Tigers, man. This ain't Crimson Tide territory. It is what it is. We just happen to be on one of their stations, so we just have to say it like that. Anyway, WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves. Thanks for joining us over in Auburn, Alabama, from Montgomery all the way to Columbus, Georgia, as well as our friends in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, plus all of our other cable affiliates, Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Cable Television, and Hotel TV, plus Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Make sure you check that out. Jason, are you a member of Chicago Food Favorites, by the way?
I am.
All right. Yes! All right. Speaking of traveling and this and that, look, folks, this is essentially, part 7 of a 14-part special, or 14-episode special for Jason Owens. And listen, folks, you get a chance to get inside the day-to-day life and what it takes to be a country music star on the rise. And it's not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're a road warrior, right? You're playing this place, you're playing that place. And I want to ask you about, when it comes to sports, we talk about picking teams, and when you're on the playground, maybe you're playing kickball or softball or whatever the heck it is you play, tag, I don't know, tiddlywinks, whatever you're playing on the playgrounds. The point is, you still have teams. And so, Jason, when you're picking your team for your band, for example, right? I want to talk about the band first. What are you looking for when you're picking your bandmates?
So I would say I'm looking for somebody that is dedicated to the cause, dedicated to learning the material. Sorry, I got a little bit of hiccups going on, but it's real. Learning the material, and one of the most important things is how you interact on the road, because you're going to be with these people for a long time. Like if you go out on a 50, 60 date tour or something, you're going to be out with these guys or girls. Excuse me.
That's okay. Listen, folks, it's live. Anything could happen, including hiccups. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, that is just a really big, important part of the equation is how your chemistry is.
Right. So you're with them essentially, I wouldn't say morning, noon, and night, but you're with them for a better part of the day. And not only are you going to have to get along, you want good chemistry on and off the stage when you're transitioning. Maybe it's the other bands. We're going to get to that in a minute. But when you're in a crunch for time, maybe you're doing your sound checks and you're doing everything else for your setup. And look, they're set up, and in some cases, you got to tear yourselves down too. It depends on the venue. So there has to be listen, don't be lazy when you're setting up. Make sure you get everything done as you're supposed to. But also, when you're tearing down, it's got to be done in an orderly fashion. Now, I've seen that with you and your bandmates taking your equipment down in Las Vegas, for example.
Yeah. Definitely, there's definitely a method to that madness. and we've got that down pretty good. We can get in and out pretty quick. That's another part of, I guess, being a professional band is that's another thing that people really look for, especially when you're like opening up for somebody. You know, they want you to play your set, but then they want you to get off, and they don't want you to play longer and than you're supposed to, and you know they just want you to get off as efficiently as you can off the stage. Get off the stage as efficiently as you can and as fast as you can. So the sooner you can do that, that's more time for the headliner, if you're not the headliner that day, to get ready and just have a little bit more play there.
Sure. I mean, they want you obviously off the stage so the headliner gets their full time. And let's face it, folks, maybe there's a bigger lineup. Maybe it's a gigantic festival where you've got maybe a chance to play maybe 3 or 4 songs in a 20-minute set, and you've got to be off the stage in 30 minutes and ready for the next one to get on there. And I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. I've been to a bunch of those kind of concerts and festivals, and I know you play festivals as well. I mean, talk about the time crunch. For a moment, I want you to go that direction. When it's time crunch, when you're playing a festival versus maybe a place that you're at for a week straight.
Yeah, man. So you say 30 minutes. I mean, we've probably done it in 10. If we really need to, we can get off pretty quick. All our stuff, our equipment is very streamlined, and usually the other thing in a festival situation, not always, but occasionally they have a thing called backline, which is going to be like your drum set's already there and your guitar amps and bass amps and all that stuff will already be on the stage provided by the festival. And you basically are just going to bring your pedal boards up. The drummer's going to bring his snare, his cymbals, any other miscellaneous things we have to get on and off.
Buddy, you need a drink of water. Have a drink of water.
I know.
If you got any water there, you better grab some. But
I did.
Go get some more because I'm going to ask another question. Go ahead. It's all right. So as I look at the setup and teardown, what I was kind of referring to was the idea that, well, maybe you would have 20 minutes to play. Let's say you got a total of 40, 45 minutes. So you get maybe 10 minutes for a quick setup. You get about 20 minutes for a quick play and about 10 minutes for a teardown. And the next act is coming right up right behind you. Does that sound about right?
That's pretty on the nail. Hit the hammer right on the nail of the head. Or no, that's not what I'm trying. What am I trying to say, Sal?
I think we got it. It's something to the effect of an explosion, but I got you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, back to this chemistry thing. I don't want to shortchange that idea because the chemistry thing is important when you're. Let's face it. I mean, you've got to rehearse. You've got to be practicing, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. It's not just practice makes perfect. So how often, even when you're on the road, how often are you rehearsing? I mean, sound checks are sound checks, but you're going to have to also make sure that everybody's on the same because not everybody has the same energy on every day.
Sure. Well, we don't really rehearse that much, to be honest. Everyone's pretty pro, and if I say, learn this song, or I send them a new original or something, if they weren't the ones to play on it, which most of the time they are, but every now and then, we got that odd commodity. They'll learn it, and we'll go out and we'll play it like we've played it, many, many times.
Okay. And I've seen some of that too. I've seen the good, the not so good, and the ugly of it. And let's face it, sometimes it happens, and it's okay because, look, we're all human. And ultimately, folks, look, you're just getting a sneak peek into what it's like to do this for a living because Jason's been doing this for how many years now?
Man, let's see. I've been doing this now for, I don't know, probably like 13, 14 years. But with my own band, I guess we're at like 11. Yeah.
That's a long time. And you're only 29, by the way, folks. How do you like that? Had a birthday not too terribly long ago. We're not going to timestamp this, but of course, happy birthday to you. Anyway, and I will never sing backup for Jason because that's not what I do. But
Will you do the Marilyn Monroe birthday thing for me, or no?
Well, you're talking about the cake? I have somebody jump out of a cake?
Mr. President or whatever the thing is. Yeah.
Oh no! I think you'd rather have somebody jump out of a cake than have somebody else sing to you because you sing pretty good already. But the chemistry thing is a really big deal here in our last 30 seconds of the segment, and a lot of people don't seem to understand what really goes into it because you got to pick your team, and it's sometimes when you're picking for a draft in sports. Sometimes they pick for the best athlete. The problem is the best athlete isn't always the best fix. So maybe the best bass player isn't always the best bass. Or the best fiddle player is not always the best. Maybe the best rhythm guitar person is not always the best. But you're going to have to find the best match for what you're actually doing on stage, just like the teams really need to do. Folks, we're going to be back here with Jason Owens in just a few moments. And folks, make sure you check out JasonOwensMusic.com while we're on break. And you're going to get a sample of some of Jason's music in about 15 seconds. So, folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
She's the cutest girl I've ever seen. When she's fighting mad, it's the funniest thing. Long hair, blue eyes, and a heart of gold. This is the one thing I want you to know. If you want a man that'll love you to the moon and back, never lie, yeah, baby, none of that. Well, slow and steady wins the race. It's the thrill of the chase. Falling in love just ain't the same these days. We might start with a bottle of Jack. Maybe we won't need that. I gotta find a way to call her mine. I know sometimes gotta take it slow and steady. She's like a locked up bank vault, and I'm trying to crack the code. She's a perfect 10. She's got nowhere else to go. Yeah, I'm trying to show her I'm the kind of man she wants. She's had some real losers and it's, but her defense is up. I just wanna love her to the moon and back. I'll never cheat, never lie, yeah, baby, none of that. The slow and steady wins the race. It's the thrill of the chase. You gotta build the trust up these days. Might start with a bottle of Jack. Maybe we won't need that. I gotta find a way to call her mine. I know sometimes you gotta take it slow and steady. Yeah, she's coming around, I can see it in her eyes. Let me tell you, when the sun comes up, I ain't wasting no more time. I'm gonna pull right up in my truck. Maybe I'll be surprised. Slow and steady wins the race. She's walking right out. That smile she just gave me, I can see she's getting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to The Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. This segment brought to you in part by the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. All right. Welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. Everybody streaming. Also on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Make sure you check that out, folks. If you don't know what that is, fun page, a fun group, and it's all free. It's all about food. Good food and good recipes. And you know what? We can put some music in there, just like in today's show. Welcoming back Jason Owens. Hopefully you went to jasonowensmusic.com and listened to some of his music. If you didn't stay right here with us on the break, Jason is a country music star. Yeah, I'm going to say it, star. He's a country music star. He's been in the rodeo for many, many years. And folks, I don't know, 150 odd times in Las Vegas playing MGM Grand Resorts World and Ole Red and all the notable kind of places, the places that you need to see somebody as they move up the ranks. And Jason, you've really been doing it for a long time. We talked about picking teams in the last segment. But what about when you're writing your music? Now, it's just you. It's, people say, well, it's me, myself, and I. We're all doing this. So if you're writing music, and at some point you say, all right, I wrote this cool cowboy song, and we had talked a little bit about that previously offline. And so here you're writing a cowboy song or two, whatever. How do you know when you are good with the song? How do you say, all right, that's it, I'm owning it, this is a good piece, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this into production?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say there's no really like rhyme or reason to that. It's just when you put that song together and you play it back a few times and you're like, man, I think this one might be it. It's something magical when you have a good song, because there's lots of songs. There's lots of people that pitch songs in Nashville, and there's lots of really good songs, and then there's lots of great songs. And even a lot of the great songs don't get cut because there's so many songs. But when I'm writing personally, I just feel like it's just when I get to the point to where, nothing crazy about it. I like it. I'm cool with it. Now the recording process is a different animal, but in the writing process, that's all I would say about that.
Okay. All right. Well, and I ask about it because when I said that there's no, you said actually there's no rhyme or reason to it. Well, the funny thing is there actually is rhyme, and the lyrics are usually fairly clever. So there is rhyme and reason to it. Look at that. You're a poet, you didn't even know it. But so as you're deciding, let's say you have 20, 30, 50 songs. Now, you and I both know somebody that alleges that they have hundreds of songs. Right. And they write them, I don't know, every night or something, whatever the heck it is. I don't know. Throw back your favorite cocktail and write, 10 or 20 songs. I'm not really sure how that works. But at some point, let's say you have 50 songs. And let's say in the old school days, you're going to put together an old LP, right? And because a lot of people still have vinyl, and I like vinyl myself. But you say, all right, look, I've got about 12 songs that I could put on this album, right? And how do you determine which ones that, okay, let's just say there's some kind of competition between them all in your brain. All right, maybe you want one ballad to every 3 upbeat songs or something to that effect. I don't know exactly what the ratio is. I'm just going to guess. It's something like that, right? So out of the 12 songs, and let's just say maybe 3 of them are going to be ballads, and maybe 9 of them will not be. But let's say you have 50 to choose from, and you have the same dilemma in writing them and owning them, per se. Maybe this one you could have said, well, maybe I put a little less effort into this, or this one doesn't sound as good as that one. How do you know? Because you have to own all of these in the first place.
Sure. So most likely, if we record 50 songs are going to get released. It's just what the order of what they are going to be released. So sometimes, like if you record 50 songs, I mean, that's, 3-4 albums, really. Yeah. So sometimes you might be like, well, I like these three. I think these three are hits. So let's put these on this first record, and then we'll put these other ones on here that are maybe more like B-side things. Maybe they're more personal, or maybe they're just something different, and it's not really that like top 40 mentality when you hear it kind of thing. Doesn't mean it's a bad song.
Right.
It just might not be as marketable of a song, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, the question, what I'm really leaning towards, and this is where I'm going to go with it with the next statement on my side, is I would imagine at some point you say, I want the theme of this album to be X, whatever that means. And so you'll have maybe that mix of those 12 songs in this example, but they'll all sort of have a similar theme to go with that particular album release. Is that something that you see happen?
Yeah, I mean, in the Nashville machine, a lot of the songs, like you listen to an album, and a lot of the songs kind of all sound the same. I personally don't love that. I like to have a little bit of variety, a little bit of different stuff going on, different sounds, different feels. And I think if you listen to my music online, you can do that on Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal, wherever you listen to it. Just type in Jason Owens. You will hear a variety of different types of music, different instrumentation, different feels, different vibes. And that's, I just like to try to be as unique as I can. But there are some like people that are on the radio, and you hear this song come out, and then about 6 months later, the next song comes out, and it's the same chords, it's the same production, it's pretty much, the same thing. And I'm sure somebody at the label has decided to do that, But to me, I just like to have a little bit of different variety.
So. All right. I mean, look, we're going to spill into the next segment. So be it. You're going to stick around with us, right? So I want to develop this topic because eventually I was leading towards that inevitable Nashville machine thing. So, I mean, look, this pretty much right now, I think a lot of people would agree that's the center of the universe in the country music world. However, there are other smaller centers of the universe in the country music space. And I would imagine that whether it's a particular type of song would come out of maybe Memphis, one would come out of somewhere down in Alabama, because I know you did some recording down there. Something different would come out of Texas. And do you find that maybe you're getting a little bit more of one type of a sound or theme or series of chords that are being played in music in each location?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The Nashville thing is very, like a few episodes ago, we had Danny on here. We were talking about the Nashville number system.
Danny, your drummer.
Yes.
Right.
Danny Burrow. And, yeah, I mean, most of the Nashville songs are like 4-1-6-5. And for some reason it works.
What does that mean for the audience?
So, let's see.
4-1-6-5, you say.
So, if we're in the key of G, I just grabbed a guitar real quick.
Yeah.
4 chord C. Your 1 chord would be G. Your 6 chord would be E. It would be minor because your 6 is minor, and your 5 chord would be D. So a lot of songs you hear that are really popular follow this format, and it's just.
Right, I can hear that circle.
Yeah,
I can hear
circles.
this. Yeah, all it is, it's almost like a loop of chords.
Yes. Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so but in each location, like I say, because I know the sound is a little bit different in some of these other places too. Now we've got about 30 seconds or so left in this segment, but let's just go to one of those, and we'll start back in the next segment on it. Talk to me the difference about Nashville versus Texas.
Yeah, Nashville's more polished. Texas is not as polished. They like more raw, very authentic type of recordings, where Nashville likes to auto-tune everything and, like make it as poppy as it can be. It's coming out of that a little bit now, but that's what it's been for, the past 5-8 years.
Okay. All right. You know what, Jason, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that. That's a very interesting piece where you're going with it. And folks, again, stick around. We're going to keep Jason on for another segment here, only because we can, unless Jason has to go. Do you have to go?
No, I'm good, Sal.
Okay, good. All right. Folks, make sure you come back. And in fact, if you don't go anywhere, just stay tuned, because you're going to hear another one of Jason's songs in about 10 seconds. Back here in a few. Don't go anywhere.
This party's dull without your smile. Why'd I let the guys drag me out for this? You're probably at home just watching TV, and I can't stop thinking about your lips. 'Cause your kisses are sweeter than this champagne. Your voice is better than the song that the DJ's playing. There's no party, no party, no party like you. And there's nobody that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, girl. There's no party like you. Here we'd be going crazy, just you and me tearing up that dance floor. Oh yeah, sipping from that flask of whiskey you snuck in. I wish you walked right through that door. The spotlight's spinning round and round, it's searching for you. My heart stops, the beat drops when you walk into a room. There's no party, no party, no party like you. And there's nobody that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, girl. There's no party like you. There's no party, no party like you. Yeah, there's no party like you. Yeah, there's no party like you. There's nobody that can light up this whole room. No Mardi Gras or Fiesta to compare it to. There's no party, girl. There's no party like you.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure to check out TheSportsCircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Stitcher, Deezer, you name it. We're there. You can't get away from us. Also, make sure you check out the partners page. Lots of great partners over there. And one of them is Al's #1 Italian Beef at 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. That's Al's #1 Beef. And folks, if you don't know what an Italian beef sandwich is, you better go learn. And don't confuse it with that awful, horrific Philly cheesesteak sandwich, because that one, mercy, not even a contest. You can read all about the Italian beef sandwich at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. These are the originators of the sandwich. Yes, and I did say sandwich. In case you're keeping score, I did say sandwich, but it is really something special. Folks, make sure you check them out at alsbeef.com and tell them the circus sent you. All right, welcome back to everybody on our CBS, NBC, Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching on TV in select markets, thanks for joining us. Also, everybody's streaming on Pick Your Favorite platform, as well as on Chicago Food Favorites. That last little drop of the Al's Beef information was exactly for you. And actually, it was for Jason, too. Next time, Jason Owens is with us here, jasonowensmusic.com. Check him out, folks. And, Jason, next time you're in Chicago, you're going to have to go get yourself a beef sandwich from Al's #1 Italian Beef over there in Little Italy.
Yeah, man, it'll be my first stop.
Got to make sure you're eating right, but I have to tell you, this is one of those things you could take a cheat day because, man, it is good. And, you know, it's not this really horrible fried anything kind of a sandwich. No, it's just good, and it's my favorite place. So, of course, I always give them a round of applause. All right, so we're talking about Texas versus Nashville. You're comparing the two. Go ahead and pick up.
Yeah, so we were talking about how Nashville's more polished and Texas is more raw, and sometimes they collide a little bit. You know, they work together. There's a guy out of Texas. His name's Cody Johnson, big Texas guy. Been doing the Texas market for many years. Very successful, but he decided, you know, he wanted to get with some of the Nashville labels to try to get the radio exposure that Nashville has, because Texas doesn't have that type of exposure. They probably do in Texas, and Texas is big enough to keep your career going, you know. But
hey, everything's bigger in Texas.
That's right. That's right. Buc-ee's, right?
Right. I love. You know what? This is for Buc-ee's. Yes. Buc-ee's is amazing. Folks, if you don't know what it is, you have to check Buc-ee's out. So let me ask you this. You said maybe Nashville's a little more polished. And the first thing that I think of is when someone is playing, let's just say, an acoustic guitar, when they're a little bit lazy, they drag their fingers on the strings, and you can hear that screech from chord to chord. And I know you have a guitar there. Can you give everybody an example of what I'm talking about? So this way, you'll hear exactly what I'm referring to, folks. Here comes Jason with his guitar. Okay.
When they're a bit lazy?
Yeah. And go when you change chords and you drag your fingers across the strings to the next chord. Not necessarily laying your fingers across them, but I'm just saying where you're right to the next chord, to the next one. Yeah, you can hear that high-pitched screech. So what I'm wondering, is that what you're referring to as far as when you said unpolished?
No, I'm referring to more how they mix the music.
Oh, okay.
So Nashville will do a lot more fix it in the mix kind of.
Oh, we don't like that. No, we don't like the fix it in the mix stuff.
So like auto tune, lots of just, and for the style of the music, you know what it is. It needs different things done to it to make it pop like that.
Okay.
So that is what it is. But Texas is definitely more raw, and more. They call it red dirt.
Oh yeah,
for music
from the Red River rivalry, right there between Oklahoma and Texas. Yeah.
So, you're probably like on a Nashville record, you're probably not going to hear a mistake, but on a Texas record, you might, and it might be there for a purpose. It might be there to show the authenticity of the song.
Well, that's exactly what we do here. We're not going to edit out your hiccup. We're going to leave your hiccups in there. I don't care, because look, we're real people talking about real stuff here, and look, anybody can edit. That's why all these podcasters, there's 3 million of them out there or whatever. They can fix everything. All of this is live, folks. We don't change nothing. We don't have to change it because it is authentic. And you're hearing Jason right now, and you may hear him on stage, maybe trip over his words. He may say something, whatever. It's just because he's a regular guy. And that's the best part about that authenticity side. I'm not a fix-it-in-the-mix guy whatsoever. So I guess, if I was a big, country music fan or whatnot, maybe I would be leaning more towards that authentic sound.
Yeah, definitely. I think just what I know about you, I think that you would definitely like the Texas stuff probably more than the Nashville stuff. I more grew up on the Nashville stuff, though, so I am more prone to that style, I guess.
That's okay. That's all right. So now compare Nashville to another market. And where's another place that has another sound where you get a lot of music produced?
Man, that's country. I mean, a lot of guys are coming out of Kentucky, and this Appalachian thing.
So out of Appalachia, we'll just say through the Carolinas and West Virginia and whatnot, right? So
yes.
What is the sound difference over there compared to Nashville? Is it just more bluegrass kind of thing?
It's more bluegrass, and it's more. It's not polished.
Right.
So there's guys like Coulter Wall and Tyler Childers, and I guess I wouldn't say they're technically country. It's more like this Americana thing going on.
So they got the banjo going.
Yeah.
Do you play the banjo?
Got banjo there.
Do you play?
I do a little bit.
Oh,
I don't have one here with me right now, though.
Well, you know what? Maybe on the next show we'll have to have you pull that banjo out, because that's the one thing I like: a good fiddle and a good banjo. To me, that's the kind of country type of variety that I could sit there and listen to, because I just think way back to the old days of hee-haw.
Yeah, with my Uncle Buck.
That's good stuff. So you do play a banjo, and all right. So their sound is a little different in Appalachia, so to say, right?
Yeah.
And is there any kind of contingent coming out of like the foothills in Missouri or anything like that, or in Oklahoma?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know of anything.
No real differences. What about that whole Western scene? So a lot of people don't know the difference between country and Western. What is the real difference?
Man, I would say Western music, it swings more. It's kind of more jazzy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It kind of just moves around.
Oh yeah, that's kind of groovy.
Yeah.
It's like bluesy.
Yeah, kind of bluesy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, I can make that connection.
Yeah.
All right. Now, when you're out there playing, and I know you have your own library of songs, and the audience has got a chance to hear a few of your tracks here and there, but the range of what you cover here, you got about a minute and a half or so left. Talk about the range of what you play in your shows to appease the different crowds.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to do a little bit of something for everybody. So we've got, the country standards. We've got the 90s country, we've got the modern country, we've got some pop, we've got some rock. We do a fun little 90s medley. We do a song called Stacy's Mom. I'm sure you know that song.
I know the song.
And then we just add a bunch of like just real well-known songs from the era as like a little medley thing at the end. So that's always fun. And we do we do a song by artist. His name's Eric Church, and at the end of that, we'll throw in some cool stuff too. Like we'll throw in like "Don't Stop Believin'" from Journey and American Pie, Don McLean, and just things like that. And it just makes it a little more fun than just playing the song by itself. So,
well, the one thing, you never know who's in the audience, right? And,
Sure.
and you never know, you could be playing to an audience of one. However, you never know who's outside the room that could be bending their ear listening and saying, you know what, there's nobody in there because the venue didn't really do anything to draw people in on that particular day. Maybe it was a cold, rainy night or whatever. Everybody decided to stay home. But maybe there's some big venue executive or film executive. You never know. They could be just sitting there listening and they don't want you to see them. So you always got to really play hard and play your best, whether it's in front of 100,000 people or one, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And if a venue is, paid you to be there, you need to give a good show, no matter what. So if they put the trust in you to be there, I firmly believe you still want to give it your all.
Yeah. And you know what? It's an interesting transition because that goes all the way back to the chemistry from when we first started talking about this, because some people would pack it in and some people say, you know what, let's just go ahead and work hard, like you'll work hard all the way through it. But there are other bands that I've seen or whatnot, they're just packing it in. They're saying, you know what, we're out of here. And that's the unfortunate truth, but it does happen. And that's why those bands are never invited back. No,
they're not. And the other thing is, like, if there is one person out there, man, you might be, making their night. They might be going through something rough. Like they might be going through a loss of a loved one or, a divorce or a breakup or something, and they just want to come out and listen to some music. And if you just quit, like that just tells that person that you don't care about them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Tell you what, Jason, we're out of time right here on the circus. And of course, we're going to be back here again in 23 hours with more content. And listen, this is good stuff, folks. In case you tuned in a little bit late, go to TheSportsCircus.com and click any one of the platforms to replay the entire episode. And we'll see you in about 23 hours. Thank you, Jason, for showing up here on the Sports Circus. And we'll see you soon, folks. So long, everyone.
You must be heaven sent. Red lip stain, still there from yesterday.